Hey guys, welcome to the Purpose Project podcast. Man, I am so excited that you have jumped on this podcast, whether you've been with us from the beginning or maybe you're just jumping in because the topic caught your attention. We're so glad that you're on this community to where, honestly, this podcast was created to be a tool, like a coaching tool, to really help people achieve the purpose that God's put on the inside of them. My name is Brandon Goff, and I get to be the host of this podcast and the pastor of Radiate Church in South Carolina. And my heart and vision is to help as many people as possible accomplish the vision, the purpose that God has put on the inside of them. Because I do believe no matter who you are, where you are, or what you've been through in your life, I believe you have a great purpose on the inside of you from God, specifically put there. And I want to do anything I can to help you get there. If you're a part of this and you're listening to this today and you'd like to help us get our reach out there, I'd love for you to like and review this podcast, share it on social media accounts, share it with friends, family, coworkers, bosses, whoever, and get the word out there so that we can continue our reach in helping as many people as possible achieve the purpose God put on the inside of them through just weekly challenges and coaching moments together. Today, we're going to take a quick pause on our series of talks that we've been in on the Purpose Project podcast because I had an opportunity to get somebody really special in the podcast studio today and have a very relevant conversation about things that are happening in the world today. What does it mean for us? How do we handle it? How do we carry this type of stuff with faith? And so today I've got Shane Francois, a great friend of mine, on the podcast with me today. Shane is in the military and Shane is incredibly brilliant and bright. And I love having our conversations about everything that's happening in the world today. How do you handle it? How do you even think through it? And I know that's something that a lot of people are really struggling with. And especially, right now, as this is recorded, whenever you listen to it, I don't know, but as this is recorded, there's a war going on with Iran, and then you got Ukraine and Russia, and you got things happening in the U.S., and you got so much going on around the world that is just uneasy and very tense. And a lot of people are asking questions that are like, man, I don't know how to wrestle with this, not just personally, but in my faith, in my life, with my family. And honest to goodness, I'm not making this up. I'm not trying to sell anything. And I'm not saying this because you're sitting with me today, Shane. Shane handles this so well because he's in the middle of it. Now, here's what I'm not going to do. We're not going to get super political today. And I'm not going to ask Shane to talk about top clearance information either. So if you're listening to this trying to get like military information, you might as well skip through because we're not going to all that. But I'm really excited to have Shane on as we talk about, hey, all this is happening in the world. What does this look like? How do we balance faith? How do we balance family? How do we stay sane in the middle of a lot of this stuff? But before we get into that, Shane, I need you to introduce yourself. Talk about your family a little bit, your journey, your job a little bit. Introduce yourself to our people. We got an incredible community of people on the podcast. So I'd love for you to introduce yourself so they know who you are, bud.
Yeah, definitely. Well, definitely appreciate you having me on the podcast. It's definitely a great opportunity to allow my voice to be heard for the glory of God. But first and foremost, I was born in Brooklyn, New York. Met my wife, Darielle, in college at Oral Roberts University.
Come on.
Great college.
Yeah.
Made a lot of friends there. We have 3 kids. We have twin girls and twin boy. Twin girls.
3 kids.
3 kids.
2 twins.
Yeah. Twin girls and a boy.
Yeah.
And they've been so much fun and definitely a true blessing. Just keep us on our feet, keep us on our toes with all the sports and homeschooling, everything. We've been moving around, moved at least 8 times within the last 14 years. So we've seen a lot, we experienced a lot, and definitely had great opportunities to build communities wherever we've been to. But I mean, overall, just glad to be here.
Yeah, man. Yeah. What are where have you been? I know, like, for a couple of years, you guys were here in Columbia. with us, and our family built a great relationship. You guys are like family to us, but you added a lot of value to Radiate Church and still do. What are some other areas that you've had to move through?
Yeah. So been to Texas, Virginia, couple of deployments overseas. Um, been to Colorado for about 4 years. I think that's one of the harder places we had to move from
Yeah.
because we've been there so long and built a great community. Been the first duty station we was at is in California, which was definitely an eye opener.
You went from New York to California.
Yeah, New York to Oklahoma. We went to school.
Cool.
California, Midwest, East, South, all over.
Colorado's so gorgeous, man.
Yeah, it's nice.
I told my wife Megan last night. I said my wife so that y'all know who I was talking about. But I told her last night, I was like, if the zombie apocalypse ever happens, we're moving out that way.
Yeah,
Colorado, Wyoming, Montana. We're just going out there.
Ideal. It's ideal. Got the mountains to hide in.
It's beautiful out there, man. It's amazing. Well, I'm so glad you took some time. You guys are in town, just hanging out a little bit, taking some time to relax, hopefully. And I think we'll go to lunch here in a little while and hit a local spot. And just we love you guys, and we're so glad that you're in town. And while you're in town, I really, I texted you. I was like, "What about this idea?" Because as I talked about at the beginning, and you and I have talked about, like it's a real conversation for a lot of people about all this, not just political unrest, just there's just a lot of tension in the world, man.
Yeah.
And so you're in the middle of it. I mean, you're on the military side of it, you're on the informational side of it. But the interesting part for you, in my opinion, is not only that's what you do, but who you are as a believer.
Yeah.
And you live that out daily, and you make that known. Like anytime I've ever talked to you about, all this stuff, it's hey, I'm a believer first.
Yep.
And there's something to be said for that. So Shane, like I know there's military people all around us, and there's probably some listening. How do you do that? Like, what does that look like that you do one thing, you are another? And I don't believe they have to war, and clearly you don't either. So what does that look like to work in a job that is like that? There's tension, there's information, there's fear, there's all this stuff, but live with a faith of hope.
Yeah.
Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, that's a great question. And that's something that, I myself, being in the position that I'm in, have to wrestle with on a daily basis. Because not only do I have the fulfillment of, obeying the orders of the people that are above me and doing the things that I need to do to protect the Constitution, but also being able to see things from a different perspective based on my understanding of who I am in Christ.
Yeah.
And really what that looks like is, being a quiet light. And what I mean by that is essentially we will always be overwhelmed with so much information to the point that it can sometimes be too much, that we let it dictate who we are or what we're going to do in our life or who we're going to become.
Wow.
And so a lot of times it's the rewiring and understanding that as a Christian, that is my foundation. And if I am not always going back to my foundation, then it will crumble because of the things that I'm letting in or letting persuade me, such as the information that, is worldwide of things that's happening that's either good or bad, and just allowing us to remove our sight picture from what's really truly never changes, which is Jesus Christ. Right.
Wow.
And so by putting him foremost in the forefront of everything and allowing him to be what I every morning I at least have to say a prayer to God and be like, Lord, allow me to see the things you want me to see, allow me to do the things you want me to do, but also allow me to see your good in everything.
That's so good.
Right. And that changes my sight picture on the things that I'm experiencing, not only in my job, but outside and around me.
Yeah.
And so I'm able to understand that there is a person who is taking care of me, who is looking out for me, a person, God, who is sovereign in
Yeah.
nature,
Yeah.
right? Because he's written the history, right?
Yeah.
And he has the plans of the end. And so if I'm able to understand that and rely on that truth,
Yeah.
then nothing else really matters.
All right. I love that phrase, quiet light.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're a pretty calculated guy in your responses. You're a quiet guy.
Yeah.
And I love quiet light. So for the people that are listening that, they don't work in the military, maybe they're a CEO, or maybe, they sit at a desk, or maybe they're in a factory. I don't know.
Yeah.
How can we keep, and you dug into it a little bit, but I really kind of want to keep digging, because that's part of our purpose,
Yeah.
From God, is when we give our life to Jesus, man, that's not where it ends. That's where it begins.
Correct.
In our mission of reaching people and expanding the kingdom and loving people well and loving God through it. What does it look like for those people to be a quiet light in a factory? What does it look like as a CEO, a doctor, a lawyer, a stay-at-home mom, the dad working graveyard shift?
Mm-hmm.
What does that look like to be a quiet light in that stuff?
Well, one thing I would say that I'll put first before being the quiet light is making prayer your priority.
It's really good.
Yeah, because our opinions about things in this world and our conversations that we have really is not going to change the needle on like things getting better for other people, or for the world in that. But our prayer should always be the first thing we do, because that would change and allow God to move faster than our own opinions.
Yeah.
Right.
That's good.
And so prayer being the first, being our priority, that should be the first and foremost thing. Secondly, with the quiet light, what that looks like is pretty much focusing on your local community, your local mission.
Okay.
Right. That's loving your neighbor. That's taking care of your family, loving your family. That is showing up to work with a great attitude and a heart posture, that you're going there to not just serve your boss or other customers, but also in that capacity serving God.
Yeah.
And so
That's
those are ways that being a quiet light that you can start from to ensure that, there's the phrase I'm pretty sure a lot of people heard, that actions speak louder than words.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't need to say much for other people to notice you
in
the day and age that we're in. Everybody's always watching, especially Christians. We're on the forefront, billboards, walking around. Everybody's ready to criticize every action that we do, because we say we follow a God that is sovereign, we follow a God that is true, honest, and just, but yet we are not acting like it, like we're supposed to. And so,
really good.
And so those pictures now are being tainting to them, now tainting God on who God is to them.
Yeah.
Right. And so we, as Christians, we have to be careful, or even a believer, on how we portray ourselves, how we tackle the day, start our days. And you yourself, you preach, and other pastors heard preach, like, when you start your day with God, everything else will take care of itself. God will be in the midst of it.
Yeah.
Not saying that everything will be perfect.
Yeah.
But it will be better.
Yeah. That's great. It's live it out, walk it out.
Mm-hmm.
I love the practicality. Start with prayer. Prayer breeds purpose.
Yes.
So much, man. That's amazing. And I think it's really helpful, no matter where you are in life and what you do. It's be that quiet light, love people well, love God well, let people see it in you.
Yeah.
I think it's 1 Peter that says, in everything you do, let it do it unto the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, there, Shane, this goes without saying, there's a ton of tension in America right now.
Yeah.
Polar opposite opinions. I love what you said. Your opinion is not going to change somebody's life.
Yeah.
God will. And I talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's got opinions, but they're not going to change a life. there's hey, you know, we should be able to live this way, and then there's this way, and there's that tension, there's the cancel culture. But you throw on top of that, it feels like political like factions are more deeply divided than they've ever been. There's a canyon between the left, the right, and the left, and the third party, and the no party, and the, you know, and then nothing anybody does is right. And then you throw on top of that, you got the international affairs that are taking place, and everybody's going, Jesus is showing back up tomorrow morning, you know, and it's the Trump will sound tomorrow, and all Trump it will sound tomorrow. I don't want anybody to take anything from that, you know, and like all this stuff, and it's a lot to take in. I've even found myself, and I've talked to you about this, kind of being like, bro, it's just so heavy sometimes. It's inundating, and it never stops, and it's the information overload.
Yeah, so much.
And we live in a world where we're more connected on a 24/7 immediate basis. Yeah. And even with AI, you don't even know what's real and what's not anymore.
Yep.
You know, and there's a lot I asked you about something the other day that I was like, is this AI or not? And you were kind of like, yeah, it is. You know? And so the reality is like, my thought is, how are Christians supposed to respond? Because it's so stinking heavy, man. Mm-hmm. You can't go to the baseball field for your kids without getting into a political argument sometimes. Yeah. Everybody's pushing their agenda, and their agenda is the gospel. Yeah. And we're in this my truth era. Yeah. To where like, you can't tell me that. That's my truth. And it's like, there is no there's truth or not. Yeah. Or, you know, your truth is nothing more than your opinion. Yep. You just reworded it. Yeah. So anyway, off my soapbox there. How are Christians, how are believers, man, how are we supposed to respond to that stuff? Like, what does that look like?
It's a good question, because a lot of times there are moments in life where we really need to look at ourselves and look in the mirror and be like, what is my primary source of information? If it's the screen, you're going to get overwhelmed automatically. Okay. Right? But if it's God, then you understand that the word, his word, you understand that he's not surprised by any of this.
So good.
You know? Everything is happening. It happens for a reason. You know, it may not be what we want it to be or how we like it to happen. But in the end, God is in control of everything, and that's part of his sovereignty. And I believe that, you know, in times like these, this is where we just got to hunker down and get in the word and pray. Keep our focus on him. That's really what you really have to do daily. You have to keep your eyes on him, keep your eyes on the cross, just making sure that you're posturing and putting yourself in a position to where you're not being overwhelmed by things that's going on the left and the right, you know, because we're not meant to carry the weight of the world.
Yeah.
We just can't.
It's really good.
And so we need to rely on the one who can and the one who created the world and understands the world more than we do.
Yeah.
And having that understanding then allows us to do the things and focus on the things that God has called us to focus on.
That's good.
And if we don't do that, then we're out of focus on the will that God has for our lives. And that sets us far back from what he wants to do in our lives.
Yeah.
But yet we keep on asking God, why are you not showing up? Why are you not doing this? Why are you not doing that? But we're doing it to ourselves and pushing ourselves away from the calling that he has for us by focusing on things that are not really important.
Yeah.
You know? So
that's really good. What you focus on first is what you trust most.
Yeah.
Is one of the things I like to think about a lot.
Correct. Yeah.
So here's a follow-up question to that, just off the top of my head. I didn't send you this question ahead of time, but
no, you good.
So, you know, as you climb ranks, like you got a promotion recently in rank and all that stuff. Congratulations, by the way. You're kind of a big deal, in the great words of the amazing theologian Will Ferrell. But as you promote, right, as you move up, as you in life, but in job, your information gets different. Mm-hmm. You get more information, right, and you get different information. Yeah. So is it fair to say that we have to know our own capacity for the information that we can handle and steward that well in order to live the faith without being overwhelmed?
Oh yeah, 100%. It's okay to be in the know. What gets dicey is once you allow that information to dictate your future and
That's good.
your current assessment of where you're at in life or who you are in life.
Yeah.
That's where it gets dicey. And you don't never want to get to that point, because then once you get off in that track, it's very hard to come back from that because of the information overload. It keeps on feeding those agendas and feeding those different things. And so information is good. It's just a matter of how do you interpret it, how do you use it, how do you um, read between the lines to ensure that you're understanding what's going on, but at the same time not letting it dictate what you should do, what you shouldn't do, guiding you off of the path that God has for you, essentially. So
that's really good. And you know, I have this theory that I feel like God gave me last year about trust and faith. And that most
we had a conversation on that.
Yeah, we've had a few of them, and they're always so like just iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people out there believe in God. They got a faith in God, but they trust either themselves or, honestly, I wonder how many of them trust social media, the news networks. I don't want to call a specific one out, in this moment, but like there's, and it's not just one. I'm just saying the media, the news, and I heard somebody say this one time, that the media makes money on your fear, and you have to keep your faith grounded. And so what I say, and what it feels like not trying to say, what you said is it's, what do you trust the most? Is it the information, or is it the God? Yeah. Is it God himself? So how do I keep from allowing the fear that's being pumped? Because I mean, I'll say this, you don't have to say it. You don't even have to agree with it. In my opinion, fear is being pumped every single day.
Yeah.
It is and fear is a cage. It's a cell. It's a jail cell.
Yeah.
So how do you stay informed but not succumb to the fear, man?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because you've got the information, and so you got more information than anybody listening to this thing, and so you got that, and it's like, okay, how do I keep from going, man, I'm just scared, and keep that faith and trust in God without the fear taking over from the information.
Yeah. So fear is breeded from uncertainty. And if you don't fulfill those gaps, the uncertainty, which is the gaps of your knowledge with God's promises, you will always be in fear. And so it's very important for us that as Christians, that we should be understanding and knowing that with God's promises, they're always true, no matter what.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing that could overcome it. God's promises are true, point blank, period.
Yeah.
Right. And developing that understanding, you now are able to see things from a different perspective of, I understand that these are the things that's going around me, but the only things that I can do is, one, pray, trust in God, believe in him. Obviously, like we had a conversation, in order to trust, you have to have the faith.
Yeah.
So building up your faith to build that trust in him.
Yeah.
And then understand that because his promises are true, that, everything else would come to pass.
Yeah.
And work his way out throughout whatever situation or scenario that you're facing or you're seeing on the screen. And a lot of times you may not see it. I think a lot of people get discouraged because they don't see results right away. But we got to understand that the time on earth God is not dictated by the time on earth, right? His timing is always perfect. His timing, he knows what needs to happen when it needs to happen. He may not reveal it to us because in some capacity we won't understand, because because God is very complex. But we need to put our trust in him and know that because he's the author of the world, of our faith, that he is going to come through in the end, no matter what. Because no plan that man has made on earth will succumb over the plan that God has for us in the earth to this day. And there's theories and conspiracy theories out there that there's world powers that are controlling the earth and controlling all the actions and stuff. Yeah, that may be the case, but in the end, God's in control.
Yeah.
So we just got to be able to understand and look at it from the lens of, fear will be there because we live on a sinful earth. We will always be tempted with fear, but putting ourselves in positions to where not only we're reading the word, we're not praying, but understanding his promises. We got to bring other people in the fold because we're made to not do life alone.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so those are like some of the key things that me and my wife, Daria, practice throughout my career and even as we travel, because we see a lot of things, we hear a lot of things, and fear can tend to creep up because it's part of our nature as being a human, but those are some of the things that we have learned and we have practiced in this journey. So
that's really good. You said conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
I won't ask you about any. How often are you asked about some?
Not as often.
Yeah.
I don't really talk about them as much, only with certain individuals. But yeah.
Do you ever like? I don't think you're a big like social media guy, and actually, I know you're not. All that stuff. Like you're pretty. I think it's fair to say you're pretty selective on what you read, what you listen to. Because I mean, let's be honest, you already know a lot of what's there. How often do you read a conspiracy theory or see a news report or something that somebody like a theory that people are putting out there, and you just laugh and you're just like, what is wrong with you guys?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like we talked about earlier, it's the information overload.
Yeah.
There's so much data out there that there could be a lie that with so much information, people see it as truth. Because of a lot of information poured into that lie.
Yeah.
So it's just having a basic understanding and just doing your own research, really. That's
a lost art right now, though. Doing your own research is a lost art.
Yeah. So
TikTok is our research, right?
It can be.
Yeah. Is it when you suggest?
But does it direct you in the right direction? I don't know.
Come on, TikTok, man. It's great. Everybody on TikTok knows everything.
Well, I don't have a TikTok, so I wouldn't know.
Listen, I have one for the church, but like I don't scroll it. There's some videos I get on and I'm like, I really want to send this to Shane just to get his reaction, but I'm not going to put him in that position. These guys are like, I'm breaking down this AI video, and I'm like, what do you do for a living? Like, go do something. Go find a life. All right. So to kind of wrap this thing up and bring it into a full circle, tell me, or tell our community here, what are some practical things, right, that we can do to really help? I love how you said, I've never actually thought about it like that, but fear, how'd you say it? Fear is birthed in uncertainty.
Yes.
And it's the gaps between what we know and what we don't know. Mm-hmm. And we're sitting there and we're just like, man, I'm so scared of what could happen. Yep. And one of my favorite phrases is like, people will be like, well, yeah, but what if this happens? And I'm like, yeah, but what if it doesn't?
Yeah.
What if it's the best scenario, not the worst that comes out? Yeah. So what are some practical ways that anybody listening can help kind of go, you know what? There's a whole way that I can refocus my mind. Mm-hmm. I don't have to be overcome by uncertainty and fear. Mm-hmm. There's a faith and a trust in God. He's sovereign. He's loving. He's with us through it all. What are some practical things that we can do to implement into our life to make sure that we are staying on the track? Because I think about, Shane, too, to take it another level in your position, but I have a heart condition and I meet with doctors, yearly about certain things. And I think about them and even doctors that see things that are like man, you get a diagnosis that's just grim, and
Yeah.
you have to give it. And while you're watching someone live their last days, you're holding on that God is sovereign and God is in charge. And,
Yeah.
and it's the same
Yeah.
situation, just a different scenario.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just say, what are some practical ways that we can build that faith in our lives?
Yeah. Actually, like so right now at my church, we're doing, going through the book of Proverbs. So
Yeah.
Proverbs every day. And Kyle's been great sending out, his podcast and blog in regards to all that. And one thing, I know before we were set up this podcast, one thing I read, well, that came to thought that I made a note of, or read it off, is that living out faith means performing our daily duties with excellence and treating everyone with the character of Christ, regardless of the instability of the culture.
Ooh.
And so, when I came to that realization, I was like, that speaks volumes, because not only does it speak to what we do here on earth with our jobs and our families, but also speaks to the spiritual nature of what we need to do through prayer,
That's
through our
good.
actions, our words, and our thoughts,
Yeah.
with the word being the foundation of it, And so that's some practical tools that involves that is, we're not meant to do life alone. So make
Yeah.
sure we get plugged into a group, a study group, or just have somebody in your corner that is well versed, not only just in the word, but are well founded, well dug into their faith.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so that they can provide, that clarity that is needed in the moments when you don't have the clarity.
Yeah.
Um, Accountability partners, groups, setting a battle rhythm of military term of just, hey, this is the time and this is the moment that I'm gonna give to God.
That's good.
Because if you do that and you allow that to be a rhythm, you will see it. It will not just be something that's on the calendar. It will
really
be
good.
a purposeful engagement and relationship with Christ.
Yeah.
That is non-negotiable.
Yeah.
And yeah, because fear is going to creep up every day. Information, everything, fear is going to creep up, and it is going to consume you if you don't have the right tools to be able to combat it.
Yeah.
And it is one of those things that can cripple people to the point where if they don't have specific things in place, they're going to be frozen. They're going to be stuck in this cycle of, just overwhelmness, depression, anxiety is just constant. So those are some of the tools that I suggest. I mean, there's plenty of there. There's many books that many authors, great authors, C.S. Lewis, Timothy Keller, I think is another one. Like a lot of them have books on, how to conquer fear, how to tools to do this, to do that. Really just all it really is with your own voice, where you're at, just get into a posture of surrender to God and let him know, like, hey, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm feeling. This is where I want to go. And I just don't have the ability or understanding on how to do that, And a lot of times people get mistaken that it's that when they do have those prayers and when they do have those moments, God's going to speak to them directly. But God doesn't have to. He speaks to us in many ways, whether that's through a person, whether that's through something you've seen on TV, whether it's a child, anything. And so we just got to be cognizant of that and have an understanding of that in those moments when we do set ourselves in the posture of surrender, that we got to be ready to receive, because it's not going to be comfortable, and it's not going to be when we want it, and it's not going to be the way we want it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And at the end, we just got to build our faith to be able to trust God with those moments and understand that He's sovereign, that everything that's happening in the world, He's already aware of it. It's no surprise to Him. History repeats itself, right? And so He'll always be there for us, and understanding and reviewing like his promises that are in his word.
Yeah.
Because I think every believer should on their wall when they wake up have the promises printed out, so that is a visual that they're able to see and able to comprehend, to allow them to be in the right mindset of, I'm gonna read, I see these promises, I understand them, reading them out loud, I'm praying them, and you'll see how drastically your life will change just by just doing simple little things like that.
That's so good.
Yeah.
I love that. You just gave me an idea for something, by the way. That's awesome. I love, you don't shy away from, because one of the questions everybody asks, unbelievers, believers, whoever, right? And we got a mix on the podcast that listen, and everybody asks, well, okay, if God is so sovereign and God is so good, why are things like this happening in the world? And the reality, Shane, is we're all fallen people, man.
Yeah, we live in a sinful world.
Yeah,
things are going to happen.
The
devil roams the earth. So
yeah,
he's active.
this is his playground.
Yeah, he's active.
And we're just passing through. We're souls with a body passing through for eternity one day.
Yeah.
And it's a reminder that I like to remind people with this, just a little practical piece of logic. You've heard me preach on it, but it's there is no good if there's no bad.
Yeah.
If evil doesn't exist, there is no good.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also no evil if good doesn't exist. It's the same side of every coin of both coins, And so it's this reality that, because I know there's people that are listening and they're going to be like, okay, God's sovereign, God's with us, God's in control, God's in charge, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, I can wrap my mind around that. But why is all this happening then? Yeah. It's a fallen world.
Yep.
It's a fallen world, folks. Mm-hmm. It's as good as we morally can be. We're fallen.
Yeah.
We're imperfect people with temptations and with desires and drives and whatever that are not holy. And it's why Romans 12 says to renew your mind, and then you'll be changed, because our mind has to be made back new
daily,
every single day, right? Because I can wake up tomorrow, I'm in a great mood today. I wake up in a horrible mood tomorrow, and it's okay, God, you better set my mind back straight again, because I'm gonna go off on somebody, and it is that, Shane. And I think you gave some great practicalities, and anybody that's listening that knows Shane and Darielle and their family, I think would agree with me that you guys live it out well. You are that quiet light. And that's why I really wanted to have this conversation, not just your position in military, because I think that's an important part of this. Mm-hmm. And I think God's uniquely gifted you to be in that role and get that information and do those things, but be a light in that. And make a difference in that, not just in the military, yes, but with others. And I think you guys do that well. And I think you gave some great practicalities today as we're trying to chase the purpose God has for us. And there's a lot of practical leadership we talk about on the podcast, but I never shy away from the faith side, because without that, man, we got nothing.
Yeah.
And God's put a purpose on the inside of all of us. And so I hope that today, wherever you are in your faith journey, wherever you are in life, wherever you are in your profession, that maybe there's a moment where honestly there's a peace that overcomes you, or there's a moment where you go, man, that hits me different. Let me tell you what that is. Whenever you go, oh, that hit me different today, that's the Holy Spirit actually going, hey, listen in on this. Like, this is for you. Mm-hmm. And I hope wherever you are, and if you're at a place to where you're contemplating faith, we've done this several times on the podcast, you're contemplating faith, you don't know where you are in your faith, but today really spoke to you, I'd love to talk to you more about it, or find a pastor, a local pastor, and talk to them about it. And really the idea is there's something bigger at play, and it's not political, it's spiritual.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And it's, while there are political things at play, it's spiritual, man. God's after our soul. There's an enemy after our soul, but there's a Savior after our soul. Yeah. And so if you're contemplating that today, I know there's some people in your community that would love to talk to you about it, or you can contact us and we'd love to have that conversation and set up a conversation with you about that. Shane, thank you so much, man.
Yeah, thanks.
I think you gave some, I think there's probably some people that wanted me to ask you some really in-depth, war and military conversation ideas. I ain't doing that to you, man. I love you too much for that. But I really appreciate your faith in who you are and sharing with the community today. You got one last thing you want to share with anybody?
No, just, I know a lot of things were said today, and as you watch this video, I hope that there's at least one thing that either myself or Brandon has mentioned that, definitely penetrates your heart and allows you to take a look at where you're at in life, and allows you to just reevaluate, not just yourself personally, physically, mentally, but also spiritually. Because we all need growth. We all grow every day. We're all getting new information and doing things in life that are putting us in different positions or scenarios that we never thought we would be in or see, but just stay true to God's word. Accountability, get a accountability partner. That's one of my biggest things. And
so good.
Just have a community, just build a community around you. I know for introverts like myself, it's hard. It's hard,
Yeah.
but it is a need. Like I said, where God made us to not do life alone. So join a local community, local church, local community group, getting plugged in your groups, plugged into your church, and you see great things that God has in store for you.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's so good, man. And we talk about that all the time on the podcast. So, hey guys, thank you so much for jumping in with us today. We're so excited to have had this conversation. Starting next week, we'll get right back to our regularly scheduled program, series of talks that we've been on, but we felt it was really relevant in time, timely to have the conversation about this today. So thank you so much. Like, share the podcast, and hey guys, here's what I want you to remember. You matter to God and you matter to others. You have a purpose and you can change the world. Now go and get after it. We'll see you next week.